Oh, I'm sorry you guys were waiting in silence. The anticipation must have been real. All right, guys. Well, welcome to Wednesday Night Power Up. Thank you all for being here. I am so honored to be your host for the evening. I am Catherine Cespedes, but you guys know me as Kat. That's me. And tonight we have a powerful lineup filled with incredible women, because as you see, we're all women up here, right? So, gentlemen, call to action for you guys. Come on over. And I know that you guys are watching from home, so thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know where you're coming in from in the comments, and we'll read those later on today. With all of that being said, I wanted to introduce a wonderful, powerful woman that we have here today that will set the tone, set the mood for us with her invocation, and that is Deb Sadler.
Good evening. Welcome to Power Up. It's a delight to have you here. Let us just step into the silence and hear these words that there's only one power, there's only one presence, and there's only one mind. And this one mind is infinite in its potential. And it is all thought, and it is all wisdom, and it is all available. And I am one with this one mind and this creative source that burst forth and created all that is. And as this is true for me, this is true for each person here, that we are each spirit expressing in individualized form. And I know that this evening is blessed, that it is a creative source that opens our hearts and our minds and our spirits. And I know that we have the joy of hearing Joy, LoveJoy, open our hearts and express the divine download that is her message for tonight. And so I know that we are blessed. We are blessed. I am so grateful for this coming together of this beautiful divine energy, and I release my word into the law, knowing that it is done, and together we all say, and so it is.
Hello. Thank you so much, Deb. That was beautiful. With all of that being said, we have this wonderful local artist here who is originally from Oklahoma, and she's gracing our stage here today. She has traveled with the Broadway shows, the theaters, for over 5 years, and she came out here, and she even has an album. So we are incredibly blessed to have such talent, such beauty, and such grace be on our stage this evening, and that's Kinney Dye.
Kat. I love being here. Seaside, you have been a part of my musical journey for the last 2 years, and I appreciate it. I love it so much. Thank you for having me. Where do you go when you're feeling low? What do you do when you can't even reach the straps to pull up your boots? And how do you find peace of mind in a world that's gone insane? So much pain. Home, it's where you lay your head to rest. Home is where you always feel your best. It may not have four walls or look exactly like the rest, but home is not a place, it's a feeling that you get. It's a feeling that you get. Home is not a place. It's a feeling that you get. No, home is not a place. It's a feeling that you get. Thanks.
Thank you, Kenny. That was amazing. You always are. All right, Power Up. So, if you want to radically increase your income, then you'll be glad you made the decision to be here tonight. Our speaker will be ministerial intern Joy LoveJoy from Anchorage, Alaska. She is set to graduate here next June. Joy and her husband of 41 years are wintering in Carlsbad this year and are looking forward to their 2 sons and 4 grandchildren visiting in December. Aw, we should get those little things. Okay, later. Joy told me she bought in early to Zig Ziglar's quote, "You'll get everything if you want, if you first help others get what they want." She learned on the job and was managing a team of 300 people by the time she was 23. After learning the ropes of leadership, she wanted more upside financial potential, so she went into sales. Joy was in sales 23 years and loved it. She won many international sales incentive trips before she retired from the corporate world in 2014. So we've asked her to explore our worth around money and how to claim it. So please help me welcome Joy LoveJoy.
Very much, Deb. Well, welcome, Seaside. The first thing that we do in the Power Up series is make sure that we know why we're here. So let's take a moment, a quiet moment, to go within and get in touch with the reason why you're here. What do you want to get out of tonight? What were you looking for when you decided to come? There you go. Everything that you want to bring towards you. Let's just take a moment. Feeling it. And as you come back into the room, in touch with your intentions, please call them out. What are you looking for tonight? What do you want? What is it your intention to receive? Freedom? Inspiration. Inspiration. Energy. Abundance in the form of money. Thank you very much. So my talk title today, since it's so close to Halloween, is Trick or Treat. Are you worthy? Soon many people celebrate Halloween. You probably will have little trick-or-treaters at your door asking for treats. And our whole human experience is just like that. Something to think about. In science of mind, we call it the law of cause and effect. If we only think good, loving thoughts, we get treats. But if we worry, if we think about those things that are not pleasant, that are happening or could happen, we feel like we've had a trick played on us. But it's really just the law of cause and effect consistently doing its job. So I want to repeat that again because that's really the whole point of the talk tonight. If you think only positive, loving thoughts, you will get treats. You'll get wonderful treats. And if you worry, You'll feel like you've had a trick played on you, but remember, it's only the law of cause and effect consistently doing its job. So look around you. Imagine everybody here in costume, and we're running around the neighborhood trick-or-treating. And don't you think that the other kids deserve treats, not tricks? What about you? Do you feel like you deserve only treats? Do you feel worthy? That's really that deeper question when you peel away the onion is, do you feel worthy? So Halloween is the eve before All Saints' Day. And it was theoretically when the jack-o'-lanterns lit the way for the dead to come back to us. It comes from the Druids marking the end of the summer and the beginning of the cooler times, which hasn't happened here yet in California. But the festival itself was for the god of death, and he supposedly summoned forth these spirits. Today, we still perpetuate that thought with these goblins and the zombies and that type of thing that we decorate with. But I'm going to use a different expression tonight. So when you hear the doorbell ring, you will hear that clarion call. The goblins will appear at your door. Will you try to evade them and hide your light? Or will you show up and give your love in the form of treats? Surely our Creator wants to give us treats. So when you hear that fierce battle cry, trick or treat, are you going to be prepared? On a daily basis, it's the goblins of our mind that we have to be wary of. These thoughts of self-doubt, of harsh messages from our inner critic, maybe that victim consciousness that you picked up when you were very young. Perhaps it's a habit of mentally criticizing other people. Maybe it's being afraid of being found out, or just waiting for the other shoe to drop if things are going well. Maybe anxiety blooms into full-blown panic. Well, back in the day of the Druids, they celebrated panic because it was a time to really search and find the cause. What are you really thinking? What's going on in all those deeper levels? What story are you telling yourself about what's going on? And be careful, because when one goblin shows up, we know that trick-or-treaters like to travel in packs. So there's probably something else going on too. But the key is to replace those thoughts with these wonderful treats that you would like to invite into your life. Just bring those in and accept them, remembering that you are in the presence of a loving God who is always active in, through, and around you, offering you treats all the time. And all we have to do is remember that we are loved, that we are precious creations of this Spirit, whatever you want to call it. By practicing the presence in your daily affairs, always thinking of this loving presence, then you build a strong house. You build on the rock of faith, and you know that you deserve treats. You deserve a good life simply because you are that precious child. And then go a step further and really practice talking to the personal aspect of your loving Creator. I started doing this by just putting a sticky on the dash of my car, reminding me, talk to God. And it was very simple, but I'd never heard about keeping in constant contact with my Creator. And it was cool. I was just pretty much, most of the time, I'd be, thank you, God. I'd see something really cool. Thank you, God. Or I am so grateful that whatever had just happened. Or if I was going into a meeting or something, thank you for this meeting turning out so wonderfully. So each one of us dwells in the house of our own belief. And if we build on these positive thoughts, your house will not fall apart when the storms come. In Alaska, it's always very cold on Halloween. And so I know what this was talking about when I saw something about building a house on a rock of faith so that it is solid when the storms come. God created me and maintains me, and I know it is always offering me treats. In writing this, I could picture at the door, well, you want this? My husband's always very generous. Want 2 candy bars? They need 3 candy bars. And that's our Mother, Father, God wanting to give us the very best in life. And the law always reflecting back to us exactly what we ordered. Exactly. And if you practice that constant contact with God, you really will hear that still small voice of guidance so that you can always make wise decisions. And that reminded me of a story about a client who her realtor told her that there's this great handyman special he was going to show her. And she's like, well, I don't know. I've never done any remodeling, but show it to me. And as they drove up, there's this beautiful 2-story Victorian home that looked like it had been painstakingly restored. It was in the original colors of burgundy and green and had all the beautiful white gingerbread on it. She's like, wow, this sure looks beautiful from the outside, and it was landscaped beautifully. And then when the realtor let her in, she fell in love with the kitchen. It was light and bright and colorful. Wow, how can this house be so expensive? And then the realtor turned on the water main, and water came rushing out of the ceiling. And she's like, wow, this house is really cool. It's even self-cleaning. And she decided not to buy the house. And by following Jesus' example in 1 Thessalonians, he told us that we will be able to take great joy from life, taking the trouble with the good and the good with the trouble, and experiencing the mystery of equanimity. So that's our word of the day, equanimity, which means peace of mind no matter what happens. Rabbi Avner told the following story. A lover of wisdom came to a master who secluded himself in meditation, and he asked to be accepted as one of the ascetics. And the master replied, well, my son, you are blessed because your intentions are good. But let me know, have you attained equanimity or not? And the student said, Master, clarify your words. And the master said, well, if you meet 2 people, and one compliments you and builds you up, and the other humiliates you, are they both equal in your eyes? And the student said, well, I do feel really good when people build me up and compliment me. It does feel good, and I feel humiliated if somebody makes fun of me or says something bad. But I don't hold a grudge, and I certainly would never hold that against them. And the master said, my son, go in peace. Meditate on this until you can come back and humbly accept the joy and the mystery of equanimity. And Don Miguel Ruiz calls this taking nothing personally. 12-step programs call this loving detachment and accepting life on life's terms. We must accept that everyone makes the best decisions that they can based on what they know, and that everything changes all the time. That's just how life is. Equanimity is accepting. It is what it is. I had a friend who had this sign in her kitchen. She goes, I hate that sign, but every day I tell myself it just is what it is. So remember God's love constantly. Let your thoughts always be positive. Accept life and always be treating for an upward spiral for your experience. Never worry. I used to worry, especially at night as I was going to sleep. Those hobgoblins would be in there flying around for hours. I would feel like I was falling. I would be tight in the chest. I would be afraid of something happening. I would hear screams, eerie screams, and then I would realize that's me. But one day a friend told me that worry is blasphemy. And I tell you, that about knocked me out of my chair, seriously. Because I was like, what? And she said, it's fear or faith, baby. Fear or faith. And man, like I said, that really knocked me. And I thought, wow. So if I worry, it's like cursing God. I don't want to do that ever. So that thought for me was a one-step treatment. And I really was cured of worry that fast. So I hope that that works for you. Just the thought that worrying is blasphemy, because we must trust God. We must trust that everything happens for our highest and best. Worry is really unskillful use of our imagination. We must have faith that life conspires all the time to bring us whatever we've got going on up here. And we live in the expression of our own thoughts. And you know, Jean Houston was here recently, right? And she taught us how to expand our ability to imagine things. So no matter how good you have it right now, no matter how great life is, or not, create this image of a big, fabulous, beautiful life, remembering the lessons that we got from Jean about really stretching and using all of our senses as we are mentally designing this expanded life. And guard the door. Don't let the hobgoblins in. Give your treats and mentally accept all those treats that you've created in your imagination, but guard the door. We know the difference between negative thought and positive thought. That's the gift of grace. We do know the difference. So guard the door. On page 118 of our textbook, the founder of Science of Mind, Dr. Ernest Holmes, called the quantum field, the field of limitless possibilities, the limitless medium. He said that since we are dealing with an infinite power which can objectify any idea impressed upon it, that there can be no limit to what it can do. It is only limited by our own imagination, the capability that we have to make this vision of our life bigger and better. And Dr. Holmes said that we also have to create a specific mental equivalent with as much detail as possible in order to demonstrate it. But faith alone is not enough. We need to treat and move our feet. The universe manifests then in a tangible form. And I call this putting my order into the universe. I kind of feel like I'm driving up to a drive up and I'm just putting in my order to the universe. And I know that I always get delivered exactly what I ordered, or more, or better, or higher, or bigger. It's wonderful. And I don't have to have it all figured out. I don't know how to do it. When I used to do big projects, I didn't have to know how to do it. I always felt like, well, I don't know how to do this, but I sold it, so. But I knew that all I have to do is take that first step. Whatever is obvious to me, it might be really simple and really small, but as soon as I take that first step, Rumi told us that as soon as we take that first step towards our desires come running towards us with open arms. And I love that image. So my point is that our attitudes, our thoughts, our words, our actions, and our feelings are always mirrored back to us exactly, and we have control over them. You know, you might be thinking, well, I don't really have control over my feelings. But it's important to know that your feelings are a result of the story you're telling yourself about whatever's happening right now. Even if you're not too conscious of it, you're telling yourself a story, you're always interpreting what's going on. So your feelings arise from that story. Two people can be experiencing exactly the same thing, but they're telling each other, themselves different stories, and they will have different feelings about it. So in every way, we control our contribution to the universe and what it reflects back, because the law of cause and effect can never be avoided. So you can't let the goblins in and then complain, well, life's not fair. Well, guard the door and do your very best, and Spirit will take care of the rest. Maybe not now, maybe later, but it will be probably better than you ever could imagine. Just as an oak tree develops from the gene that lies within the acorn, and a bird develops from the gene that lies within the egg, so too does your life unfold as a direct result of your thoughts, words, and actions. An image in your mind is the first step of the creative process. From the seed of your imagination, the totality of your life arises. And so it is. Thank you. Hey. Thank you.
Wow, that was amazing.
Thank
I
you.
feel so inspired, Joy. Whew. All right, so, okay. I'm a little jealous because you guys can like marinate, and I'm like up here. Okay. So this is the part in our service where we have Joy right here. And if there's anything that came up for you, any questions that you may have, just know that there is no such thing as a wrong question, a silly question. The question that you have, someone else might have it as well, and maybe they were too afraid to ask. So be brave and be bold. And this is all sharing. We're all here in communion, and know that this Power Up service is for you. So make this the best service for you. What questions do you have? I'm coming down with the mic. I'm coming for you.
So have the call to action, a worksheet in your program, which is very unusual. And you probably have not had time to read it, but it really is something for you to take home and maybe remind you about the talk tonight. But you might especially look at number 3 and number 5, just for right now to get an idea or questions. I know for myself, a lot of times I come out of a service and I forget what was said, so I thought I would give you something to take home. And I know for the live streamers, it's on the, right underneath the video too, it's posted there, so that you can look it over. Just some reminders.
So many hands. I love it. More hands.
Yes, so what do you do to help guard your mind and spirit against the goblins?
I heard this a long time ago, and many of you have probably heard it too. I just say, cancel, cancel. And if somebody's telling me about, like, oh, the traffic's really terrible today, be careful before you get on because there's accidents and it's weird, the moon might be in whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking or kind of saying under my breath, cancel, cancel. Cancel, cancel. I can be very sweet and I can listen and I can say cancel, cancel. Or somebody tells me, well, you can't afford that, or, you know, that can't be done. My mind is going, well, how can it be done? Because as soon as you ask yourself that question, how can it be done? Your mind goes right to work on it. But if you say, that's impossible, you're never going to have an inspired idea. But if you open yourself up to Spirit for ideas, treats. Thank you.
Thank you. We had another one over here.
You say your life will evolve from your spirit, and perhaps you've answered some of what I'm about to ask from that other gentleman, but What about if into your life comes a tremendous, huge hurricane and you're devastated and demolished? Those words could be truthful and you can understand them, but if you absolutely don't know where your next step of hope and spirit is going to come from, how do you handle that?
Thank you for that question. That's probably the point of it all, right? Is how do we handle it when the storms come? When the wind has blown your house apart. And that is why we all need to practice really building those positive thoughts. And it takes time to get into that pattern of thinking and to really be rigorous about not letting those darker thoughts in. And I've experienced the dark night of the soul myself, and I've been at that place where you say, God help me. But if you can put your pride aside, the society tells us we should never ask for help. But I believe deeply that asking for help is a spiritual practice. And I really, really mean that, because your brothers and sisters, these fellow trick-or-treaters in your neighborhood, will step up. Even if they can't do anything to change your circumstance, they can sit with you. They can hold your hand. They can give you a hug. People want to help each other. We've seen that time and time again with fires, with shootings, with all these things that are happening now. But we see people respond. And so we need to know that when we're in that space, because it happens to most everyone, it is part of the human experience. When we're in that space, we need to ask for help. I don't know if you've ever had it happen to you, but it is a horrible feeling to know that someone that you care about, or just that you know, had a horrible time, maybe did something terrible, and they'd never asked for help. So let that be a lesson to us, not to let pride get in our way, and to just say, help me. Even if you don't know what kind of help you need, just say, help me. And the world will respond. Thank you very much. Probably
Do we want to
one
do
more.
one more?
Mhm.
Ooh.
You talked about a rock of faith, and I love that visual. How do you build up that rock?
Thank you very much. The way I did it was through classes at Centers for Spiritual Living, through wise people who mentored me, just like she asked, asking those questions. Well, I've got this situation. What do I do? Those times when I feel like, well, I'm a smart woman. I should know how to figure this out. And I've just simply asked other people, what would you do in this situation? And, sometimes there's good suggestions and then sometimes they're not. But when you hear the suggestion that has that ring of truth, that is in alignment with the qualities of God, love, peace, beauty, just that clarity. So it was a slow process for me. I don't think anybody can do it overnight unless we have a mystical experience, which does happen. Welcome those in, invite those in, because that's the quickest way. Most of us get there sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. Just guarding your mind, not letting those things get to you, asking for help, reading spiritual books, study, meditation. First thing I do in the morning when I wake up is just a prayer of surrender. Thank you. Thank you very
guys
much.
Went deep today.
Great questions, yeah.
Okay, so thank you for your questions. At this time, I'm calling Kenny up for one other song.
I really liked your question about the storm. when the storm comes? Who hasn't had a storm? I mean, we all have them, right? So I have this, I had a storm hit me last year, and it knocked me down. It knocked me down to where I didn't know how to function as a human being, let alone a musician. And thank goodness I am so blessed to be a musician. And in those times of how do I even get out of bed in the morning, I knew that I had a guitar, and I knew that I had an open channel to receive whatever it is that I wanted to receive, and I fought it. I definitely fought it. I didn't want to sing. I didn't want to play. I didn't want to do anything. And this song came so quickly and so powerfully to me that I use it a lot as my own personal anthem. That, you know, whatever it is that we go through, it is merely a moment. And I know that sometimes those storms, when you're in the middle of them, oh my God, all you want to see is an end. Give me some light. But it's just a moment. It is an absolute moment in time. It does not last forever, and it is fleeting in the spectrum of it all, in the broadness of it all. It really is truly fleeting. Barely breathing, trying to survive. With a little bit of luck, I can make it through the night. To see the sunrise another day, keeping up my fight. Moving slowly, feeling all the pain, and taking all there is to gain. Well, I can walk away now, knowing I am stronger. The battle may be done, but the war I face will go on even longer. And love is the only way to get us through what we think may be our last day. And though it's hard, you gotta say it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Hearts get broken, being left for dead. And minds, they go crazy, replaying what was said. And I'm sick of hearing time will always make things better. Well, isn't there another way to hurry up the pain and pull myself together? But love is the only way to get us through what we think may be our last day. And though it's hard, you gotta say it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down into the ground. And dust to dust, we will rise again, stronger than the wind. Love is the only way to get us through what we think may be our last day. And though it's hard, you gotta say
Oh, yeah. All right. So the reason why we come here to Power Up is to inspire, it's to uplift, is to really make you feel something in the middle of the week, right? So I'm going to call up Joy, LoveJoy, because I know that you want more of Joy, LoveJoy, so that she can give us the call of action. This is the reason why we do the call of action, so that we can take something home. And this is what she's bringing for us today.
Thank you very much, Ken. We'll do the offering later. So the call to action tonight is going to be very specific. At the beginning, during the intentions portion, we talked about abundance in the form of money. So when I thought about this, I really thought about Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay called Compensation. And the law of compensation is just another word for the law of cause and effect. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that each person will get back exactly according to what he or she has put into the universe. Okay? So contribution does not mean that you have to work hard. It means that you take the gifts that you've been given, maybe hone your skills a little bit, and it can be easy. So let's remember that and rewind some tapes maybe that we have from childhood. The income you earn today is compensation for what you've done in the past. If you want to increase your compensation, you simply increase the value of your contribution. The law of cause and effect also overcompensates those who put in more than they've been paid for, those who are always looking for opportunities to exceed expectations. Because they're always overachieving, they always get a high regard and high reward. And your contribution is simply thinking of problems that people have and creatively and effectively solving them. If you think of that, you maybe have a job over here that you can do and figure out ways to exceed expectations, but you might start thinking of some additional ways of being compensated for solving problems. It's actually that simple. I know it should be complicated, but it's not. So proper use of the mind will return anything that you can imagine. But the emphasis here is on the word proper. Proper use requires your use of this wonderful imagination that I think of as universal mind, and guarding the door of your mind, keeping those hobgoblins out and saying, I want treats, please. I'm worthy. I'm a precious child of God. Ring around the rosy, ashes to ashes. I love that. It tied so perfectly right in. So you can use this marvelous mind to improve your own life, but you can also use it to improve the life of humankind. The individuals who were responsible for coming up with cell phones, email, whatever you considered a wonderful, marvelous modern invention, they were simply using their imagination, and then they held that picture in their mind with their will until it became a theory, and then it became a fact. So we're not talking about just abundance for ourselves. We're talking about solving problems for everyone and then being compensated in kind. So they knew that if they could visualize it, they could do it, and you can do it too. Use this power to let your mind play. We are precious children. Fantasize a much better life than you're experiencing right now. Draft your future with imagination. Feel grateful for the experience as it's done right now, because that feeling tone is very important to the vibrations of success. Ask your inner knowing, what's the next right step towards this, and take that one action. And as I said, then your desires will just come running to you with open arms. Rinse and repeat. It's that simple. At the top of every hill on your journey, more will be revealed. And then you can see the next step and the next step. It's wonderful. Expect to be rewarded for your contributions and expect bonuses of every type. Dr. Holmes also said in our textbook that we should be specific. Whatsoever things we desire when we pray, we should believe that we have them now. If we should want money, mentally accept money. Too often people say, well, I'd like $1 million, but they don't feel worthy of $1 million. So work on that worthiness piece. That's so important because it's embodiment. The feeling of, I am accepting this. The feeling is much more important than even the thought or the image. So I don't know if you caught it, but earlier I mentioned that an important part of putting my order in at the drive up, universe, this is what I would like, is believing deeply that I deserve them. Scare away those goblins of doubt, of feeling less than. You've seen some parents that scare the kids at the door at Halloween, right? Do that to them, and off they skitter. Don't let them in. Practice the presence of God. And the more that you do that, the more that you can feel that you are an emanation. You were created by and with the presence of God. You are worthy of these amazing treats. And now I'd like to move into treatment. So knowing that this wonderful, powerful Mother God, Father God created us, that it is not just something, but it is everything. It is in, through, and around every iota, every cell, every atom. It is all God. It is all happening right now. It is within us. It knows us, we know it. We are one with it. I can feel this oneness with Spirit. I feel the unity that I know that I am it expressing. And I know that as this is true for me, this is true for each one of you also. We are one thing happening. And I know that the truth of this means that we deserve treats. We deserve the best and highest good. I know that I am a precious child of God, just as I feel about precious babies. I feel that love, and I know that Spirit is love and law. So I know that I can trust that. I can always count on that. I can always ask it for help if I need it. I can put my order in, and at least that will be reflected back to me. And I know that that is true for each precious child in this room and on live stream. We are one. It is good. And I am truly, truly grateful. It's so wonderful. And as I claim my divine inheritance as done now, my worthiness as done now, your worthiness, which is true right now, I then release my word into the law that always reliably says, yes, it is so. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so this is the part in our service where we say thank you, right? Where we support Seaside and we support this service for being able to get here together and participate together as a community, because we know that the law of circulation is the more you give, the more you get back, more or better, right? So at this time, I'm going to invite Deb Sadler up so that she could do a prayer, and I invite our ushers to come up as well so that we can collect our baskets for our offering, and Kinney Dye will play one of our beautiful songs.
Well, knowing that we come together as a community and we support our community, knowing that as we give it is returned to us, and we don't give just because it's returned to us, but we know that that is the law and that is how it works. And so I invite you to reach within your hearts, and I allow my ushers to go out and to receive. Thank you very much. These are our new Practitioner 1 students. Give them a hand.
Getting lost in a cloudless sky. My thoughts are running wild in my mind. I feel the wind rushing over me, reminding me to take the time to breathe and not worry about the next step, and just enjoy living in the moment. I believe in life, I believe in love, and I believe in laughing when I fall down. It makes it easy getting up, and I believe the sunshine can bring healing to your life, just like the way that it is healing mine. So don't you say that it's too late for you to shine, 'cause I see your light. All it takes is a tiny spark to ignite the light that lives inside your heart. So go ahead and let it shine. You share yours and I'll share mine. We'll make the world brighter each day. Step aside and let love lead the way. I believe in life, I believe in love, and I believe in laughing when I fall down. It makes it easy getting up, and I believe the sunshine can bring healing to your life, just like the way that it is healing mine. So don't you say that it's too late. Don't you say that it's too late. And it's okay if you have a day when you're just not feeling right, 'cause I'll be there to hold your hand. Oh, and together we'll fly. Oh, we'll fly. Ooh, I believe in life, and I believe in love, and I believe in laughing when I fall down. It makes it easy getting up, and I believe the sunshine can bring healing to your life, just like the way that it is healing mine. So don't you say that it's too late for you to shine, 'cause I see your light. Oh, I see your light.
Every time, I'm just amazed every single time. Woo! All right, okay. So, this is the portion in our service where we're doing our testimonials. So last week we had Leslie Goodwin here, and she had to talk about standing up strong, right? So last week we talked about showing up, discovering who we really are. We spoke about getting on the field, embrace the fullness of your true self, and score. Share our goodness with others. So the call to action last week was show up on the field and score. So this is a time where we're, as a community, talking about how we brought this into our week last week, or anything else that you want to share with us, because as Sean Madden told me, sharing is like chocolate. And I remember this one. Sharing is like chocolate. Why? Because the more you give, the more you will get back. So if we're all sharing our chocolate, imagine how much chocolate we would have. And it doesn't have to be about what happened last week. It could be about anything that speaks to you. Maybe the inspirational message that we heard here today. So don't shoot your hands up all at once. Thank you for being considerate of me. I can't run in all different places. But this is a time where we can share.
Well, it's been probably over a year since I've been back to Seaside, and your message was like just super timely. It was 100% of my coaching call today, and you just kind of literally almost every word, but yet it was spiritually faith-based here, and I knew I needed to come tonight, so thank you.
You gave me strength to lift myself up and start taking a step forward.
You guys give me strength to step forward, honestly. Oh, I think we need 2 runners.
Run.
I'm coming.
Seaside exercise program.
So what struck me in your message tonight is that when you look at the opportunity to be of service, that it's unlimited when you ask yourself that question. A lot of people think, well, there's only so many ideas, or where am I going to find an idea? But what really struck me is it's like unlimited, those possibilities, because there's unlimited contribution possible everywhere.
Yes.
And so I just thought that was cool.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. So too many of us think that our job is our source, but God is our source, so we can get compensation from there and many other places. Thank you. Perfect.
Anybody else? You get to talk on the mic and you sound really loud. All right, so you can hold that for next week. I am incredibly honored to be on this stage, to talk to each and every single one of you, and I encourage you all to talk to myself or anyone that is up here. Deb Sadler, thank you so much for coming and for being the beautiful light that you are. We have Trudy here. We have Victoria Woods, who is holding the light. She's holding the space, holding the consciousness for this talk this evening. We have Steve and Tim and Gregory here, and they're always here. Thank you so much for your time, your patience with me, and just being the wonderful people that you are. We have Ginny and Dennis here, and they're always here, again, supporting with the love, with the light. Thank you so much, Joy, LoveJoy, for the beautiful inspirational message that you delivered this evening. It was powerful, and it was exactly what I needed. I hope it was what you guys needed too. And then Kenny Dye, oh my goodness. Jeez Louise, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being here. And again, thank you all for being the beautiful, radiant lights that you are, for sharing, for your questions. You are the reason why we are here today for Power Up. This service is for you. With that being said, let's all stand up. It's time for our congregational song. And I believe the bookstore is open. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I will be in the back. Kenny is selling her CDs as well. And we also have prayer coming. If you want to pray with Deb Sadler, and we have Victoria Woods here. So it's time for our congregational song.
All right. So I wrote the congregational song. It's 4 phrases. I absolutely believe in you, that you can get it. I'm going to go through it once and then just sing along with me. It's the same thing over and over and over. And I teach yoga, and I love to sing to my students in Shavasana. So this is my new Shavasana mantra prayer to send to my students. May there be peace within you. May all your light shine bright. May all the love that you have be guided where it's needed. May happiness grace you for all of your life. That's it. May there be peace within you. May all your light shine bright. May all the love that you have be guided where it's needed. May happiness grace you for all of your life. Again, you got it. May there be peace within you. May all your light shine bright. May all the love that you have be guided where it's needed. May happiness grace you for all of your life. May all the love that you have be guided where it's needed. May happiness grace you for all of your life. We'll have the words next time. Yeah.